Welcome to Getcha Rocks Off with Mick Wall, the world's leading rock and metal writer. Each week, he'll unpack stories that you won't find in print. So pour yourself a Jack and Coke and get ready to Getcha Rocks Off. This episode is brought to you by the Getcha Store. For all of your Getcha Rocks Off merch, including t-shirts, face masks, and yep, Hotel Tropicana coffee mugs, head over to getchastore.com. Welcome to another edition of Getcha Rocks Off. Today, me and Jon are going to talk about old people.
Old men.
Old men.
Old ladies.
Old ladies.
Yeah.
Doing a young man's job.
Yeah.
But still somehow...
They're old in a young man's game.
And yet they want us to believe they are immortal.
I just remembered as you were doing that intro, your friends, Status Quo, all of your chums in Status Quo.
Very good friends.
They once had a song called Poor Old Man, didn't they?
Did they?
Went, yeah,
I don't remember that one.
He's a poor old man.
And now we are all poor old men.
Yeah,
well, not me, obviously.
We used to sing it to Crusher. He's a poor old man.
And he was even 30 years ago.
Exactly.
Let's be fair.
Yeah.
Yes. No, we're going to
Some people were never young.
Well, there you are. We'll get on to that. We're going to talk about these rock stars.
These bloody rock
stars that are now, you know, they've passed 70 or they're certainly hovering around there somewhere. And I don't want to say it's time for them to go.
Hang it up.
Yeah, because I don't want them to go.
No.
At the same time, they are starting to look their age, aren't they? Like a very expensive piece of furniture.
Well, we're sort of on the edge.
But it's now 50 years later.
We're sort of on the edge of a bit of history, aren't we? Because until, you know, the notion of rock stardom started in the 70s, sort of until now, no one knew what would happen when rock stars get old. I mean, they all used to say, if you ever see those documentaries and so on, the 60s and 70s, I thought, I only thought it'd last a couple of years. And there they are 50 years later.
No, absolutely. And also that's one of the reasons why groups used to break up as often as they did in the 60s and 70s, because if you'd been around 2 or 3 years, you've had your go.
You were finished.
I mean, Cream broke up after, 3 or 4 albums because it was like, well, we've done that.
Done it all.
We now need to do something else.
And yet Clapton is still going.
Well, he is, but he did. I mean, in fairness, he left Cream, started Blind Faith.
Oh, yeah.
Left them, Derek and the Dominoes.
Yeah, left them
and had a whole drunken, junkie career in the 70s as a Tory voting toss bag.
Yeah.
Then came back.
Yeah.
Cleaned up.
Eric.
Rehabbed.
Yeah.
Daddy told him to go to rehab. He went, all right then.
Yeah, I went. And he got the old Armani suit.
Got the whistle on.
Yeah.
And has been boring us ever since. I preferred the junkie, personally.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
There you go. Anyway.
Yeah, but we were at that point in history where actually now we're finding out what happens. And you do go on and on and on. And sometimes it's quite undignified.
Nearly always it's quite undignified.
Because that uniform doesn't change. I mean, okay, if you're Lemmy and your uniform has always been a denim jacket and jeans,
an iron cross around your neck,
then fair enough, you're not going to ever look that different. But if you're
Lemmy's different. Lemmy was different.
If you're Steven Tyler or Vince Neil and your look has been a blusson and a very tight pair of trousers, an enormous pair of sunglasses, and very long hair,
and cute,
then all of a sudden you start looking like one of those New York women who stagger out of a very expensive apartment on the Upper West Side.
With a cat under each arm.
And they're going down to the local deli, and they're nuts. They're crazy cat women. That's what Steven Tyler looks like.
Well, that's what he looks like now.
Yeah.
See, that's a good place to start. Let's talk about what some of these people look like now.
Yeah.
But just before we do that, just to contextualise, I remember watching an interview with Mick Jagger on television in 81. And even in those days, the Stones are kind of like, well, surely this will be the last tour they ever do. They've got to hang it up now.
Yeah.
And they were saying this to Jagger.
And he was kind of laughing, agreeing, going, he said, well, poor old Bill, meaning Bill Wyman. He goes, Bill's nearly 50.
Yeah.
And they were laughing.
Yeah,
Bill's
yeah.
nearly poor old Bill. Only Bill could get to be 50.
Yeah, 50.
And now they're all in their 70s.
Yeah, and they're still going.
Jagger's had his heart op.
Don't know if Bill's still going.
Yeah, but he left.
He left years ago, didn't
He
he?
did what the others should have done and left years ago.
Yeah. But when that cheque gets dangled in front of you.
But yes, but you know what? I think the check definitely. But there is the other stuff too, isn't there? There's the.
Well, yeah. What else do you do if you're not?
I mean, they could have become property developers, or they could have invested their money and lived a quiet life, not being hassled. But they love the hassle.
Yeah.
They love the fuss. Just as you say, no one realised we'll be talking about it 50 years later. It's insane.
Well, I remember, talking about Aerosmith, I remember, because, Jeff Barton at Kerrang! Quite often get me to do not hatchet jobs, but, just take a different view of people's work from time to time.
Yes, you were known as the Black Hand.
Yeah, and I black-handed an Aerosmith album once.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, he deliberately gave you the album and said, do your work.
Yeah, it was
Which
the
album
one
was it?
It was the one after the Love in an Elevator thing.
Love in an Elevator was Pump,
Yeah,
and it was the one after that.
maybe.
Get a Grip.
Something like that.
See, after Pump, I lose the will to live.
Yeah. Maybe it was Pump. Might have even been Pump. I don't remember.
Pump?
But
Janie's got a gun.
Yeah, but I do remember putting in this a couple of facetious lines in there about how old Aerosmith were, because they're in their 40s, and it was like, my God, they're still doing it. They think they can make a comeback in their 40s.
And they did.
And they
they
did.
were bigger than ever.
Yeah.
But in fairness, I think in those days, I remember interviewing Joe and Stephen together in the Pump era. And it was the whole thing of, we've been to rehab.
Yeah, they've cleaned up, hadn't they?
I interviewed them at lunchtime on a Sunday
Oh,
at their hotel.
God.
And I was like, so what's your Saturday night like now then? You
Yeah.
know? And they said, go for dinner and go to bed. But this morning we were both up really early on the rowing machines. And Joe goes, and we both have a pot of coffee. That's like our drug now. Yeah. I'm sitting there thinking, boring.
Yeah.
Boring. Yeah. But they still looked amazing.
They did look amazing.
And you did kind of go fair dues. I mean, they did the whole
party. But even then you're going, God, you look amazing for 45 and everything you've been through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did.
Yeah.
Now what I'm saying is, I think they still look amazing for their age when you consider other people in their 70s. Yeah. Are they in their 70s? I don't know. They're probably late 60s.
You could look like Phyllis off Coronation Street, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, my father-in-law is like Mick Jagger's age. And if I the thought of, his name's Colin, the thought of Colin strutting his stuff.
Yeah.
I can't get no. Oh, actually, me back. Oh,
yeah.
Let me have a sit down.
Yeah.
But so the whole idea is absurd, but nevertheless, this is where we are. So I'm going to go through a bit of a rogues gallery here with you, John.
Okay.
And I want to get your first impressions, and I show you these photos. Okay.
Okay.
So here's a picture of Steven Tyler today.
Yes.
What does he look like to
Well, I say, New York Dowager.
He looks like he'd been big in the movies in the 40s.
Yeah, and
then become a recluse.
Yeah, and a paparazzo has sat outside this New York apartment for days on end, hoping for an appearance, and then out of the lift comes this thin,
very
tiny little old lady, as you said,
with a big head,
with a cat under each arm and a massive head and sort of weird, slightly dyed hair, but it looks like it's been done by her at home. And she's coiffed it up with a couple of pins in the way she would have done in the 40s.
And it looks like she's had a couple of facelifts.
Because the
mouth goes all the way back to the ear.
Yeah.
The mouth goes... In fact, if you pull that chin down, it's like one of those toys where the whole head...
Yeah, exactly. The mouth is either open or closed. There's no sort of... there's no halfway house. It's either got to be open to putting a tiny slither of food every now and again.
Or you could just open the whole thing.
Or
and
open the
put your
whole,
fist in
take
there,
the
yeah.
top off. Yeah.
So that's
and the eyes are kind of very strange now. Very. I don't know how you just even.
They look like they were taken out at some point, and robotic eyes replaced them.
Been put back. But then there's a huge pair of sunglasses, but old lady sunglasses.
But he sleeps in those.
Yeah, exactly.
They know that guy in Star Trek, The Next Generation.
No, I don't. You've done this before.
No, the black guy who you can't see, but he's got the
any
visor.
I don't know
you
any
know
of
the
them.
one I mean.
don't.
Yes, you
I
do.
don't. I told you I know Captain Kirk and I know Spocky. Or whatever.
Jean-Luc Picard. Don't pretend you don't know Jean-Luc Picard.
I do, because he's the one who's in extras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a bit tangential, but so in Star Trek: The Next Generation, Jean-Luc Picard, one of his officers, is that wonderful black actor that had been in Roots, and he plays this blind officer, and he's got like a visor. I know you don't give me that. I don't
know what you're talking about. Anyway, but Steven Tyler's got a pair of sunglasses like that.
Like that guy, they're permanently attached.
He's got a sort of diaphanous blouse type arrangement on, but his chest is a bit sort of desiccated and very
concave. That's the word you're looking for.
Deeply tanned though.
Tanned like old leather.
Yeah, old leather. Yeah,
like it's been polished under the sun.
Yeah. Like an old pub chair.
Like a saddlebag.
Pub chair that's been. So you sometimes get those pub chairs and they've got studs in the leather to keep it in place.
And it's shiny.
It's shiny because so many people.
Because that's where old Steve used to sit and die at the age of 93.
Yeah, that's Steven Tyler's chest.
Yeah,
and then he's got a pair of little trousers, like little prissy trousers with a belt.
Yeah, the sort of ones you get in Primark if you're a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with JD Sports,
where Axel gets his clobber.
No. So I'm going to hang on. I'm going to hold up the other photo. I've got another photo.
Well, no, hang on, let's just finish off because the other thing he's got is a big pair of clumpy shoes on.
That's
big
true.
Like platforms,
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But again,
that's what
he's had those
like.
platforms grafted to his feet
like.
since 1978.
And what happens when that happens is photographs like that become memes on Facebook with a caption that says something like, "My granny looks good today." Those sort of my auntie Dot's talking to my auntie Ethel. Have you seen that one?
Dot.
There's one of Ronnie Wood and Paul Weller, where they look like nothing more than a couple of old ladies because they've starved themselves to the point where their faces are so lined.
Ronnie Wood, definitely.
Yeah. And
I'm going to put that photo. Hang on. I'm going to put that photo of Axel to one side. And just quickly, we're not going to dwell, but quickly hold up a picture of Ronnie Wood.
Ronnie Wood, yeah.
Talking to Paul, that very picture.
Well,
Ronnie looks like a 93-year-old woman.
Weller's still in shape. He's sort of a bit of a bruiser still. He is, but he's got a very hawkish face, And if you get him at the wrong angle, he's got long hair now. It just kind of looks old ladyish.
Yeah, I
wouldn't want to tell him that to his face.
I've always thought Weller, was twat. Can I just say that?
You can say that, yeah. But he's the kind of twat who can handle himself,
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that.
We'll see, won't we?
I could take him with one hand tied behind my back,
yeah.
mate.
Well, anyway, maybe, but he's sitting there. I mean, he's sort of hunched over with Ronnie Wood, and it did become a meme of like my aunt Ethel's had a nice day out with my auntie Dot. They look like that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, proper figure two. This picture.
Proper.
Who is this, John?
Yeah.
Who is this, John?
Oh, Axl Rose.
There you go.
Yeah.
But not Axl Rose as we imagine him
being,
because he doesn't look like that anymore.
No.
He now looks like Axl Rose's granddad or grandmother. Don't you think?
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is that...
Although I think he's improved.
I mean, I'm glad he's not that angry, troubled, horrible person that he was, where he obviously was drinking a lot or doing drugs or whatever. Now, obviously, he's put on a bit of timber, which is fair enough. But in all honesty, we love it. But that probably means he's a bit healthier.
What you're saying is, if you cut him in half, and you counted
there's
the rings,
there's a few more rings than there were.
Rings than there used to.
And he's got a bit of a,
No, go on. Bit of a what?
Bit of a circular face arrangement going on. You know,
Carrying a bit, what was it you said? Carrying a bit of timber.
carrying a bit of timber. Yeah, I mean, he's not at the gym every day.
Well, that's because he spends so much time in JD Sports.
Yeah, that's right. Because
Trying on
it's
those
comfortable.
gym
They're
pants
comfortable.
with the elasticated waistband.
They are the most comfortable thing you can wear.
You're wearing some
I'm
right
wearing
now, so
some
you would
always.
know, wouldn't
yeah,
you?
I would. And the
But
tops,
you have yours done up with string because you're so skinny.
yeah, I have mine stringed up. Axel's he expanded into them at some point a few years ago.
He did, but they look comfy on him.
They do.
The
They
big
do. When he was
medallion, I'm not so
wearing
sure about.
When he was with AC/DC, I mean, it was only because Beano had the cap. Otherwise, you just had two small, chunky, tiny, chunky blokes with high voices going, "Oh, well, I'm not. No, I'm not." It was hard to tell which one was which, really.
I don't know. You've lost me there. What rabbit hole have you
Well, no,
disappeared?
Beano Johnson.
Brian Johnson,
Yeah.
as opposed to Johnson and Johnson, the popular
Beano
vaccine.
Johnson and Axl Rose. If you're at the back of, the New York Knicks Stadium or whatever it is, having purchased your ticket for AC/DC,
Yeah,
and they're
$400, and you're now 2 miles from the stage.
and you're 200 yards in the distance. There's a speck of, a tiny person with a hat singing Back in Black. Is it Beano? Is it Axel? It's kind of hard to tell. There's two small, squat people.
You raise an interesting point, and here's my question to you, and I do mean this seriously. Have you ever seen Brian Johnson and Axl Rose in the same room?
No, because they hate each other.
Do they?
Well, if you're Brian Johnson, you're with AC/DC basically tell you to fuck off and then tell the world it's because you're deaf. Right? Then they turn up with Axl Rose as their singer. And then when Axl doesn't want to carry on, they go, "Oh, Brian, do you want to come back?"
Yeah, what's wrong
I'd have
with
said,
that?
"Fuck you."
What's he going to do? Reform Geordie?
Well, he'd have just done he could have kept doing his car show that he does on the Men and Motors channel or whatever it is.
That's quite popular.
That's quite a nice retirement, isn't it? I mean, does he still want to be up there going, how does Back in Black go?
Dun, 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 dun. No, you missed. No. Hang on. Dun, 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 dun. No.
Back in Black. Hit the sack, been too long. It's good to be back and cut loose from the noose, all that stuff. But is it Beano?
Is that a roll
Axl?
up in your mouth?
Exactly.
You've got a roll up in your mouth and a flat cap at this point.
Because that's how the words came out for Beano. Because he's vocal like that. It's quite step-toe-ish, isn't it? And it's all kind of tight, and no one can understand what he's saying. I'm English.
Yeah, but they couldn't understand what he was saying when he was 18.
No, I know. They could. No, even went, "Oh, wait, it's a pretty." I saw him doing an interview.
Sorry, do that again. Oh, we are right.
He does interviews with rock stars, doesn't he, about their cars or something? Like,
No.
why am I so great to be here with
Robert Planty.
Planty, tell us about your cars, Planty.
Robert Gardner,
who
I've had a
is
show
from the
for all my
Midlands, going, "What the fuck? What's he saying?" It's almost. It's one of those things. You sometimes see American programs, and there's someone English on there, but they've subtitled them because it's so alien to the American ear. They actually think it might as well be in a foreign language.
Yeah.
Beano's a bit like that.
Yeah. Okay, so back to this photograph of Axl.
Yes.
Would you say he's had much work?
Well, it's hard to know, isn't it? Because it's hard to.
It is hard with him because most people that have work, they look better, don't they? Whereas
Maybe
he's had
just
work and he looks worse.
Holding back the years. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
And what's up with that hair?
What hair has he got now?
Well, I don't know because he had.
Because you mocked me because I said the last time I'd seen him, he had the the wafro thing.
Yes, well, that's going back 15 years.
So I haven't, seen.
You haven't seen a picture of Axl Rose for 15 years.
I've seen.
I thought he lived down the road from you with Brian May.
I saw him, from 200 yards away.
He's now got what used to be
couldn't
called
have told you what he
boy.
looked like.
Like a page boy, like it's sort of
A Jimmy Page boy.
Well, it's sort of combed from the side.
A comb over.
No, I think it's more of a. I don't know what it is, but he had his hair.
Yeah.
obviously that started to go a bit thin, as it does
Yeah,
for many
yeah.
good-looking men. There are many handsome men
Yeah.
who just own it.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't think of anyone immediately,
No.
but own it.
No.
And then you get the LA boys of a certain era, or as Lemmy once said to me, because Lemmy was losing his hair, he goes, I said, what's going on? Because it looked all good again. And he goes, we have the technology.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So I think Axel had the technology, and then at the time you're talking of with the cornrows and all
Yeah,
that stuff, which is
yeah.
going back nearly 20 years.
Right.
I think we're still talking technology.
Yeah.
Now I don't know. I mean, if you paid a lot of money for how his hair looks now, you'd want a fucking refund.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but you never. It might not even be Axel. Who knows? Maybe there's two Axels now.
Sorry, what you mean? You mean Matthew Tripp?
Well, no,
back?
it's just like he doesn't want to be everywhere all the time. He's just got like some bloke who. So you have lookalikes. Howard Hughes had 15 lookalikes.
Are you suggesting there's an Axl Rose lookalike?
Maybe it would be great if there was one. I'll tell you who I thought there definitely was one of. And I think, did we not work out, it might have even had something to do with Doc McGee. When Michael Jackson came over to the UK.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't him.
To announce those shows at the age. There's no way that was Michael Jackson.
Well, for a start, the bloke was black.
Yeah, and he was way too tall. He was about sort of 6'5".
And he had a normal looking nose.
Yeah.
As opposed to something that looked
something
like
that
it come out of a
been-
cartoon.
and been
a
stuck on.
witch's fucking...
So I think lookalikes, I think they are used.
Do you know, I think you raise a very good point.
Thank you, Mick.
I feel another episode coming on where we talk about rock stars and
we
their
should do
lookalike.
is, are you a rock star lookalike? If you are, send us a picture and we will see if we can get you the gig.
And we're not just talking about, what was his name? Rick Steinman, what was his name? The Meatloaf impersonator?
Oh, Steve Steinman.
Steve Steinman.
Yeah, but Steve Steinman doesn't look like them. He's just called Steve Steinman.
Yeah, or even if you've got a name like
Steve Steinman hasn't had any work done.
Not yet, or not as far as we know.
No, not as far as we know.
Yeah, but if you want to look like Meatloaf, the only work you've got to have done is get down to McDonald's a couple of times a day.
Yeah, I think Steve's got that under control.
Okay, so just to bring us back on message, it Steven Tyler marks out of 10 for how he looks now.
I don't think you.
I think he looks good for a man his age.
Well, he does. If I don't know. I mean, if he walked down a normal high street, I don't know if people would be saying.
Steven Tyler hasn't walked
down
a normal high street
he's not
since
going
1973.
to. So the notion of marking does it's what
All right,
what he looks like is
good.
irrelevant.
We say looks good.
No.
Okay. Axl Rose.
No.
You don't think Axl looks good?
No, I mean the thing
I
is,
think you look
but the
great,
thing about these
Axl.
people is they're
If you want to talk to anybody, you talk
these
to
people are
us. I think you look
supposed to
great.
be extraordinary, aren't they? They're supposed to
they
be
are
extraordinary.
extraordinary.
People. So yeah,
but not necessarily the way they
yeah,
think
not necessarily
they
the
are.
way they think they are. Exactly. So there's a bit of that going on with both of those people, I think.
Okay. I'm going to hold up another picture now, and this one is of Ozzy Osbourne.
Yes.
Now, this picture is better than the other two, I think, because Ozzy's wearing a hat and dark glasses, and he appears to be sitting in a throne, but it's probably some sort of support chair, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because he's not well.
No, he's
I mean,
not.
he's really not well.
Yeah, and I think it's difficult with Ozzy because I mean, he actually looks. If you see a photograph of him, he looks great, and especially considering he's 70 or whatever, he looks amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, he really does. But when you see him having to talk, move around, then you see, okay, I think, it'd be very difficult for him to now go out and be the Ozzy that we all know and remember, which is great, sad, but I mean, it
And
comes
he's
to
a
us
guy
all.
who has had a lot of work. It's no secret. I mean, Sharon had Ozzy getting work as far back as the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, at one point they did sort of look a bit like each other.
They did.
Yeah, because if you probably both got the same plastic surgery.
I thought you meant before that, when they were both just really overweight.
I think it's that weird thing of, they say you are attracted to people sometimes because you see a bit of yourself in them. And I think probably a bit of that with Ozzy and Sharon is they kind of do look slightly similar,
Well, I remember at Live Aid, he was there in America with Black Sabbath, and I was talking to his publicist on the day, and he'd just come out of a meeting with Sharon where they were talking about how fat Ozzy was, and that he was going to have to do something about it before the next tour.
Yeah.
So I mentioned it to Ozzy, and he went, "It's fucking true. Yeah. I look like a fucking fat Joan Collins." And he did, bless him.
Yeah.
But by that next tour, those chins were gone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, Sharon was. I mean, Sharon, you as an act of reinvention of herself. I mean, she looks fantastic. You know, she is. Obviously stayed on top of that herself, and has, done the ensured the same as happened. Because had Ozzy lived, a parallel life where Black Sabbath had made one album, as you said, and split up, and he'd become the bloke in the corner of the pub. What would he look like at 70 then? Yeah. What would he look like at 70 then?
Well, he wouldn't look as good as he does now.
No way. So I think Ozzy, I'm saying fantastic.
Yeah, we're going to give Ozzy a big
great.
pass.
Big plus.
Big plus for Ozzy.
And let's say Tony Iommi as well, who looks bloody amazing, considering...
Well, he hasn't changed one bit in 50 years,
there's like a sort of portrait of him somewhere, because he always looks the same.
Well, I do remember at a Classic Rock Awards thing a few years ago, I think it was Gene Simmons was the guest speaker, and he made a joke about how everybody that came up for an award that night, it was astonishing how dark their hair still was.
Yeah. Obviously they're dying, of course they are. But you do reach that point, don't you, where like the ultra black hair looks bad because people can see how fake it is. But somehow Iommi has avoided that fate. Geezer kind of looks like a sort of...
Do you think Iommi dyes his moustache?
I don't know, maybe.
Well, what do you think, though?
Yes, I do think he does.
I don't. I think it's completely natural.
Yeah, well,
love your tone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is what all your comments are coloured by. But Geezer looks great. Geezer just looks like he's not tried too hard to hold back the years. He's kind of a bit of an air of growing old gracefully.
Well, here I think is an interesting point that you're nudging towards, which is they look like proper blokes. Yeah,
they do. Yeah,
I
think you're right. Yeah,
I think when you get to Bret Michaels,
yes, it's more difficult if you've been incredibly beautiful as a youth. It's more
as you
difficult.
get older, it starts to look like you've been in a car crash or something.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Bret Michaels does, but you start to look. Remember the actor David Hemmings, incredibly pretty young man, but as he got older. Yeah, because he lacked those distinctive features. It just looked like a squash.
It's like that kind of thing where
face.
you sort of, you have your moment in life where you're looking your best. And if that's when you're young, fantastic, you're probably going to become a star or whatever. But you then have to live with the image of that for the rest of your life. Whereas if you're one of those people who, especially with blokes, if you're kind of at your best when you're, like a kind of George Clooney type, much better at 50 than they were at 20. It's
and this is the problem that women have, not just
exactly.
in rock, but
I'll tell you one guy who kind of looks way better. It's Geddy Lee. Geddy Lee looks great. He's kind of got his hair tied back, and he's sort of, whereas when you look at him in gawky young Kid in Rush, look completely out of place.
Well, he was kind of the opposite to that pretty guy you were just talking about.
The nerdy guy who actually has got to his 60s or whatever and looks great. Got a bit of money, nice
clothes.
Like
he'd come round to either fix the car or the washing machine or these days the computer.
Yeah, exactly. But now he's got expensive clothes, looks great. Obviously got a bit of money.
Okay, now here I'm going to hold up another picture for you now, John, and this is a very good friend of ours, David Coverdale.
David.
This is a picture of him now.
Yeah.
I'm going to start you off and let you run with this, and not everybody will know who I'm going to reference, but there's a hugely famous household name comedian in the UK. He's dead now, but his name was Ken Dodd. And I swear to God, whenever I look at this picture of David, I'm showing you now this was taken just yesterday in my kitchen. Yeah. He reminds me of Ken Dodd.
I mean, I think the thing with old cover. I mean, he did again. He's one of those people who was tremendously good looking at the height of his fame in the mid '80s and '90s. Really, really great looking guy.
Well into his 50s.
Total heartthrob. Who now I think
the wear and tear is showing up.
But because he's like the teeth and the hair are still
But
as
the
they
face looks very
Yeah.
drawn.
Yeah.
The eyes look a bit red.
Yeah.
And I think he just looks pale and
He
slightly
does look a bit
bloodshot
paler, yeah, because
eyed.
we used to have the tan, didn't he?
He doesn't
Yeah.
have buck teeth, does he?
No,
No,
he's
but
got,
in
he's
my
got
mind,
American teeth.
Yeah, but to me, it's a bit Ken Dodd. You know, Ken Dodd had the buck teeth.
He did have the buck teeth, yeah.
Coverdale doesn't have buck teeth.
No.
I know you think he does, but I disagree.
Yeah.
But he just looks a bit, that kind of Ken Dodd thing. That sort of, I'm a mouse eating, I'm a rat eating cheese,
Yeah.
darling.
But then it could just be a bad day in front of the camera. You never know,
Coverdale didn't have a bad day in front of a camera from the age of 15 to
Yeah,
probably
that's
60.
true. Yeah.
But now
Yeah.
he's starting to look more like that portrait in the attic, don't you think?
Yeah. And then what do? Then do you, cut your hair? That's the big dilemma, isn't it? You always have. As a rock star, is there a point where you cut your hair? David Lee Roth,
Are you saying Coverdale's going bald?
No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm saying if you've always had long hair, kind of gets to a point again when you're in your late 60s, 70s,
doesn't look.
you could start to look either like, an old biker who, whatever, or you're going to look like an old lady. So do you get to the point where you cut your hair? And if you get your hair cut, how do you have it cut? So David Lee Roth ends up getting his hair cut or whatever, and looks like just the local dentist, whereas once he was Diamond Dave,
See, I think Diamond Dave should have gone for the weave or whatever.
Yeah, because he's
back
the
in
kind of guy who
90s.
could still carry the long hair.
He could have carried it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think he could have carried it, that he'd had a weave or whatever. I think he could have fronted it.
Yeah.
Maybe not, maybe because of grunge, but there was something exceptional about him that you could put up with all kinds of things you wouldn't put up with from another rock star.
The grunge guys are interesting.
In terms of looking old.
Yeah.
The ones that didn't die, you mean?
Yeah, the few that are left.
So Cornell died.
Quite a lot of them
Cobain died.
Quite a lot of them sorted it out, didn't they, by dying.
Weiland died.
Yeah.
Lane Staley died.
Yeah.
Eddie wishes he'd died.
Yeah.
Eddie feels like he died every time one of those guys died.
Yeah, but then what does Eddie look like now? I don't really know.
I bet he's wearing the same brown T-shirt.
Last time I saw him, he had his ukulele, which was that, when
He had a ukulele?
We did this when he told you he did When I'm Cleaning Windows. He did his album of ukulele. It was called
cleaning windows.
It was called Ukulele Songs.
It was not.
Eddie,
Fuck out.
it was
An album called
Ukulele Songs. Yeah.
So he doesn't look old. He just is.
Yeah,
like,
he just is old.
old.
He just is old.
Yeah. Don't you hate the old?
Yeah.
Hate the old.
But I don't know what he looks like. I don't know what Eddie Vidal. I don't know what Stone Gossard looks like these days.
No, neither do I.
No.
But who cares?
That's a bit of that. I mean, because they were anti-image, all of that. I mean, Dave Grohl looks all right, I think, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, Grohl. I keep forgetting about. I never think of him when
he's
we
not
talk of
grunge because he's a rock star. He's
Yeah.
not a grunge guy.
He's more kind of power pop.
Yeah, but he's not a grunge guy, is he? He's not a miserable.
No, he is the anti-grunge.
Yeah. It makes you think because the other bloke who was in Nirvana, who's now some sort of extreme right winger or something.
Chris
Novoselic. Or Chris Trump, as he now styles himself.
He does not.
I'm sure he does.
He does
I'm sure someone
not.
told me. That's what you told me that.
Fuck off.
You did. You said. Have you heard about Novoselic? He's gone.
No.
He's gone to the right of Trump. You said.
There isn't anywhere to the right of Trump unless you're Hitler.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that reminds me. We've had a few comments from people saying, "Keep the politics out of your pod, man." Don't anti-Trump. I mean,
Trumpers.
Trumpers. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, I love it when the Trump people go. They go,
stop talking.
Why would you
about it.
alienate potentially half of your audience?
Yeah.
I'm like,
because
no,
you're demented.
Yeah, just alienate one cunt, mate, and that's you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what? Yeah. Why would you alienate all people who think the Earth is 6,000 years old and Donald Trump is the saviour of America?
Yeah, why would you want to alienate those people?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure I'd want them as my friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah, these
Absolutely.
lunatics. Yeah.
So
that's that.
That's that one sorted. Could you imagine though if Kurt Cobain had got to what would he have been now? He died at 27 in 94.
Yes.
So that's 10, 27 years.
27 plus 27's 54.
53? He'd have been 50. Oh, 54.
Yeah.
He'd have been 54.
Something like that.
Bald, fat.
Yeah. Still
old.
miserable.
Oh, definitely more miserable than ever.
But he'd be like, you see, you've just got an absolute slating for their new album, Van Morrison, because he's just put this album out, and it's basically a double album of complaints about the modern world.
Yeah, excellent. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
But sort of like, I was right and everyone else was wrong.
Yes.
You know, and I'm the kind of person who, hates the new traffic arrangements outside the local primary school.
Do you know, it's funny you should say that. My local Tesco, Sainsbury's, they have
they've
ruined
put
the car
bollards up,
park.
20 mile an hour limit. It's bloody ridiculous. He's one of those sort of people.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm going to rifle through my.
That's what Kurt Cobain would be now.
I picture him in one of those mobility scooters.
Yeah, but ironically.
No. I think he'd be for real in one of those. Moaning.
Yeah, but he would. I think I kind of get the feeling. I don't know. He might be, or he might have gone down another route and just become more and more obscure, to the point where he's now making sort of papier-mâché dolls or something as art installations.
He was already doing
Yeah, he
that.
was. That's what I mean. He's probably going to be doing that.
Well, maybe he could have joined Alice Cooper in a stage show, because Alice used to like to get the toy dolls and behead them.
That's right, yeah. See,
He
Alice
could be beheading them and Kirk could be gluing them back on, back to front.
Alice has got the sort of... Alice and Mick Mars, you never see those two together. Because it will be
Except on nights of the full moon.
Talking about lookalikes, so you saw Alex and Mick Mars together. It would be like...
You never see them like
No,
that.
you wouldn't. It'd be like a rip in the space-time continuum.
Okay. Now, here's another picture for you to ponder.
Yeah.
This is a picture shot just yesterday of Vince Neil. How do you think he's looking for his age?
Vince could do with a pair of the Sports Direct tracksuit.
I thought you were trying to say he's got a pair.
Well,
like moves.
He sort of has, hasn't he? I mean, the last time I saw Vince, he was in Las Vegas.
Of course.
He was dressed up like a biker. And he was just, I mean, there's no other way of saying it. He was fat. He stacked it on.
I loved it, the singer of Steel Panther.
Yeah.
Wasn't it you? Was it
He's
you
great.
that said
Michael
to him,
Starr.
you look like, what was it someone said to him? Like a fat David Lee Roth or something.
Yeah.
He goes, no, man, no, I'm a fat Vince Neil.
Yeah. But now, no, because Vince is
the fat
Vince.
Vince is kind of the Elvis.
Fat Vince. He's like one of those Italian guys who would, there's Tony Maroney and Fat Vince.
Hey, let me get the boys.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony, bring Tony Maroney, Crazy Dave, and Fat Vince.
Get Fat Vince over here now.
Big
He'll tell you what he's talking about.
Which Vincent did you mean? Did you mean Little Vince?
Yeah.
Big Vince? No, Fat Vince.
Big Vince is Little Vince's son. Have you not heard? It's all that stuff. He looks a bit like that, and he goes around Las Vegas like beating people up. That's what he does.
What are you doing with your wrists?
He's got a motorbike. He's got a motorbike.
I thought maybe you just were having a stroke.
He rides up to the casino, because and he goes on his big chopper, and he outside the casino gets off his bike. Who is it? It's Vince, man. Off comes the helmet.
Man,
no, he's got one of those open face helmets with a. All that
Flips
stuff.
the visor.
Because he's got a restaurant in Las Vegas. You get the impression he spends quite a lot of time in there.
I think he's the chef, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's just at the head of the table. Like he's on the pass, as they say. Sampling
what
everything.
What sort of food do they serve? Is it gourmet hot dogs?
No, it would be something like that, or Tex-Mex.
Cook your own steak?
Tex-Mex.
Tex-Mex.
Those American, it's like everything in America. Everything in America is sort of 15 times the size it needs to be. It's all terrible food, but there's loads of it.
He does those pies with the horns
coming out. Or you get a steak and they go to you, you get a steak, and if you can eat it, you get like $1 million or something. You go, but it's just a
He has
pointless
he has
waste,
churros
isn't
for
it? Yeah,
breakfast.
it's just a pointless waste of food. They give you a plate that's like as big as the table with a steak that's as big as the plate. There you go, eat that, buddy. No one ever eats that. And you go, well, why do you serve it then? You know, no
I
one
once
ever
had a
eats it, 'cause
steak
it's-
like that in Italy.
Yeah.
Because in Italy, if you go
Yeah,
to a
but it
proper
would have been
restaurant...
beautifully cooked. Probably.
Well, I don't know. This thing was literally hanging over the plate like this.
Yeah. You sure it wasn't for the whole table? And you just took
I
it.
don't know. I fucking
You
grabbed,
just
oh,
took
that's
it.
for me.
Yeah.
That pasta, that's yours.
Yeah, and that steak
And this
is mine.
steak is mine, yeah.
I think you might be talking about a Chateaubriand. Is that what you're talking about?
No, this literally was a T-bone.
Oh, okay.
And it was just ridiculous. The really big plate, but the two ends were hanging off it like legs. You were like, this is still going to be here tomorrow, isn't it, when I come back?
They're like, hey, we're getting a wrong table. That's Fat Vince's. That's Fat Vince's order there.
Scusi, I make a bigger mistake.
Yeah,
I give
it's
you
for
Fat
Fat
Vince's a steak. Oh, scusi, no,
That's what,
prego.
You're going to break my legs because he looks like he'll break your legs.
Yeah,
Vince.
Vince, Fat Vince turns
Fat
up,
Vince
mate.
will break your leg. That's the other thing he's got on the back of his bike. He's got a big baseball bat. He just takes him with him, ready. That's what Vince looks like.
That's why Axel...
Vince is a
That's
no
why
bullshit
Axel backed
kind of,
off fighting Vince that time.
Vince versus Axel now would be a heavyweight clash. Had it been sort of light welterweight back in the day, it's now very definitely at heavyweight.
Oh yeah, I mean, Vince.
They
is
should
more
do
like
one of those
George
YouTube.
Foreman
Now
these
you know,
days, isn't he?
you know those guys on YouTube who are now making more money than actual boxers by having boxing
KSI.
matches. Yeah, all those guys. Vince versus Axel, but clean up on YouTube.
He could warm up with a fight against Mayweather.
Yeah, Mayweather. That's
Mayweather will fight
that's the sort of
anybody
fight Mayweather wants. And like, as long as it's not an actual boxer, I'll take the fight. Yeah,
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather versus Fat
Vince Neil, and then Axel straight
And in the blue
afterwards.
corner,
Because let's face it,
Vince Neil.
See, the thing is, Vince has only got a couple of rounds in him.
He only needs
exactly.
one punch, mate.
That's right. He's got a puncher's chance, as they say. So a couple of rounds of Vince, couple of rounds of Axel, and there's Floyd in the other. You know, doing all these Mayweather stuff where you can't hit him.
Yeah.
It's getting hold of $1 bills and throwing them into the crowd like he does. They say with Mayweather, he does that thing where he's like he does this thing where he calls making it rain, where he goes into a nightclub with big wads of bills and checks. But what he does is he puts 100 on the top for the cameras, and then when he checks out, all the rest are just dollar bills.
It's fun. Yeah. I mean, you sort of accused me of that the other day when I gave you your money, didn't you? You said there's a tenner on the top,
yeah,
but the
but
rest
underneath
is all
it's
coins.
all like fees. Right. And they're all like 1 and 2p's. They're like stuff we don't
it's
use
crypto.
anymore.
It's
Yeah,
crypto.
That's what you said. No, that's what Bitcoin looks like. Looks like a load of bag of old 2p's.
Those
you had
coins, you
yeah,
think
they're
they're pennies,
bitcoins.
but they're Bitcoin.
Bitcoins.
Just in coins in bits.
That's why they were called bitcoins, because they're just little bits. But
Little
they're,
bits.
Yeah, but
That's
they're
right.
worth like.
But
loads.
they're worth. You go to Venezuela with those, mate.
Yeah, mate,
you're going to live like a
you're
king.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right, I'm going to pull out another picture now, John. I think we've discussed Vince Neil, or Fat Vince, as he's known.
And his pal Tony Maroney. That's who hangs around. Dear.
Now you mentioned Lemmy. Now Lemmy's dead, obviously, so that's one qualifier. But Lemmy, now he on paper never changed, but
He did have that very weird period where he started wearing those denim hot pants.
well, that was his LA
Like, yeah,
period. That was his LA
yeah,
honeymoon
he was
period.
with denim hot pants with cowboy boots. It's like, had you seen him from behind, you would have thought. We were joking about rent men. You know, there's not a big market for rent men. There's a lot of rent boys.
Listen, hey, West Hollywood, which is where Lemmy lived,
What? Yeah,
is boys' town.
Yeah.
And Lemmy, when he used to walk down Santa Monica Boulevard
In
in
his
his
denim
cut-off
hot-
denim shorts, white cowboy boots from '73, and Iron Cross.
Yeah, and
he was much in demand.
He was, but if you see him from behind, it's like he's long hair. You know,
What, you think it's a girl?
well, you could think anyone, couldn't it? You know,
I think you'd have thought it was a girl.
well, he still kept his kind of lissom shape, didn't
But
it?
well, when you don't eat for 48
Yeah,
days
oh, yeah,
straight,
yeah,
you will
yeah,
be
yeah.
quite lissom.
Yeah,
Yes. I don't even know how this came up, but I saw a clip of him the other day from the original classic lineup of Motorhead, and it reminded me of how young and kick-ass and energetic he was. He's on doing Ace of Spades or Overkill, doing Overkill, and he's fucking giving it. I mean, he's really giving it, and the hair is going, and cut to those last few years, and you basically got a statue on stage in a cavalry uniform with dark glasses and a big hat and coloured in whiskers.
Yeah. No, it was kind of sad in a way, but I think it was that thing of Lemmy was always on his own terms, wasn't he? So if that's what he wanted to do, just go with. And it was that you're almost like you're looking at a piece of living history when you see him. It's like, that's Lemmy, you know, that's the guy.
No, I agree.
That's the
But
guy.
it's interesting to me how the defining image of Lemmy, a bit like when David Bowie died. I know at the Grammys that year, Lady Gaga came on and did a Bowie tribute. She sang a few songs, and she came on with the lightning bolt slash across her face.
Right.
Now, as a big Bowie fan, that lightning bolt across the face never featured in any of his stage acts. It was on one album cover, and yet that becomes the Bowie motif. I was out shopping with one of my daughters yesterday, and in the clothes shops,
there's T-shirts with just that
with all the light.
Yeah.
And if you go to the Rainbow in LA, one of my favourite places in the
always
world,
there, Mick.
they've now got I was going to say gold. It's a bronze statue of Lemmy right by the front door. But it is the Lemmy that used to live at the Rainbow. So you've got the hat, you've got the cavalry jacket or whatever it is.
Yeah, the hot pants.
No. See, the hot pants would be interesting.
I'd have gone for the hot pants.
The lasting image of Lemmy now is of that latter period of his life when he was in his 60s. I interviewed Lemmy around about the time of his 50th birthday, and he was still that Lemmy with the long hair, no hat, no uniform.
Yeah, that's true. He never. Yeah, that was a bit later, wasn't it? All that stuff. I just remember the denim jacket at first.
Seriously, the last 10 years or so, we're talking about that cavalry type jacket, that hat with the
I know the one
cavalry
you mean.
hat.
Yeah.
I mean, Lemmy was quite camp. He I'm sure I told you this before. He
was when he was with you. He thought that's what.
And I went to visit him once.
Here come Lemmy and Mick.
This is like in 1983 or something, I'm going to say. He lived in this little flat in the Edgware Road, what's now known as Arab Town. And he used to cook his own chips in a chip fryer that was always catching fire because he'd put it on and forget about it.
Yeah.
That and cheese sandwiches. He'd make a cheese sandwich, drop it in the chip fryer and put it in the boiling oil.
Oh.
You want a sandwich? You want a cheese sandwich? I go, later. Can I have one that hasn't been in the chip fryer? How about that,
In that oil you boiled up about 1,000 times.
Yeah. So I go around and I can't remember, it was a PR thing, something going on. I can't remember what it was.
Maybe he was going to play you his new album.
No, definitely not.
That's the one great thing about Motorhead you never had to do, listen to, because it just sounded like the preview.
Yeah,
he didn't have to worry about it. He didn't care what
anyway.
Lemmy didn't fucking care what you thought of it. Yeah,
he used to write the lyrics on the bog, know. I knocked on the door. We were going to meet his manager or something in the pub, and I knocked on the door, and he came to the door dressed from head to toe in a Civil War American but the South, the Confederate. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Hat, jacket, trousers, boots, and I literally went, "You're not going out looking like that. What's wrong with it?" I went, "Seriously?" Because you don't want to be rude.
Yeah.
I thought, well, he won't wear the hat. He wore the fucking hat. Yeah. We're walking down the street in like 1983 in Edgware Road. Lemmy dressed in his Confederate uniform. And he loved it. He loved people looking at him weirdly. And we went into a pub.
I mean,
We went into a pub. when they were pubs.
Yeah, when a proper pub. Yeah.
Not gourmet
yeah,
bars with
No.
women, having a salad.
Not a kind
geezers.
of £25 fish and chips.
Absolutely. This is
Fucking
pint
cheese.
of wallet
Some sandwiches under a glass dome.
that have been there
One
for
of the-
weeks.
months. They've probably been in Lemmy's fryer.
You just use them to mop up the spilt
Yeah,
beer.
exactly. Yeah.
Stick one in
of
your
those
pocket for
one of those
later.
calendars of a naked woman which pork scratchings on. Every time a packet got pulled off, you see a bit more of the woman.
That's right. Yeah.
Proper pub.
What you call a proper pub. And here we come, me and fucking General Custer.
Yeah.
Well,
But then you think about you're
not
right.
It would have been Robert E. Lee,
Ulysses,
wouldn't it?
yeah. But you think about like Lemmy, Coverdale. They were camp in that kind of. You talked about Carry On.
Yeah.
Before they're kind of camp in that sort of way, that kind of heightened way, where if you do something, you exaggerate it.
So if David Coverdale was Sid James,
yeah.
Lemmy would have been.
I don't know who was Lemmy out of that.
Lemmy would have been
Charles Hawtrey.
Kenneth. Charles.
Kenneth Connor.
No,
I think Lemmy started. Kenneth Williams.
Kenneth Williams. That was
I don't think he
Lemmy.
was. I think he started off. He was sort of more like Bernard Bresslaw, the kind of big lumbering, but then ended up more like a kind of, camp. Charles Hawtrey. Type.
Charles Hawtrey, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
Hello. Yeah, that's.
Because he was very nice, Lemmy.
Yeah, he was incredibly nice. I'm sure we said before that.
Very good manners.
At Greater London House, where I started off on Crang, the one opposite...
the Black Cat building, as it was
opposite
known.
Mornington Crescent. The receptionist was
Mornington Crescent, where there was that massage parlour.
It was there? I don't remember that.
No, me either.
Yeah, but the receptionist at Great London House was this lady called Isabel, who was a lovely lady. But
Did you?
No, she was...
You did, didn't you?
She's even then probably in her sort of late 50s, but very demure, always immaculate, but immaculate in that kind of, in a sort of, and I'm not being pejorative, in a kind of Marks and Spencer's type way, immaculately dressed, even though,
like my shirt.
Yeah, like me, even though behind her was this, bubbling hellscape of sounds, Kerrang, record mirror, people who only ever wore clothing that was sent to them by a record company.
That's right.
And had been up for 15 days in a row, And Lemmy was a sort of semi-regular visitor. And Isabel loved him. Absolutely loved him. Because he was so polite.
Yeah,
he
good
was
manners.
so polite. Yeah,
Manners maketh the man.
Yeah. And she kind of, exposed to Guns N' Roses and God knows whoever the hell else came there. You always used to get people like, those dog-on string bands, like what they called the Wonder Stuff, and people, and they'd be reeking in the bloody, what were they? Fields of the Nephilim. Hello, Fields of the Nephilim room reception. Oh, Jesus
Tell
Christ!
them we're out. We're not here today.
Yeah. They've dropped by. Oh, don't drop by.
Zodiac mind warps in reception.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
well,
all
we're
of
out.
them. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you.
But Lemmy loved him, absolutely loved him, because he was so polite.
He had great manners.
Yeah, proper manners. Yeah,
He had great manners.
and wouldn't make that mistake of, he would act in one way with the Kerrang people or whatever, and he would understand that, but also understand that Isabel is not part of that world.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to behave in that way.
That's right.
In front of her. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to let you choose one now. Rock stars, how they look now.
How they look now.
Well, can I just insert? I've got one.
Go on then.
I was watching on the telly yesterday.
Yeah.
John Bon Jovi. Yeah. Have you seen John Bon Jovi lately?
I'd say aging New Jersey politician making a second run for office.
He looks like he's running for the mayor in The Wire Series 4.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. But again,
I'll tell you who he reminded me of.
Again, slightly camp in that way, that kind of slightly overdone way.
He's now got that hair.
Yeah,
it's like the Dot Cotton hair.
Yeah.
It's grey with a blue ridge.
Yeah. But there's a lot of it.
And it's quite bouffant.
Yeah, it's bouffant. Yeah.
It's a short haircut, but because he's blessed with lots of hair, it kind of is up there on top of his head.
It's almost like it's either running for mayor of the local very rich town, or it's TV evangelist. About to ask for your money,
or morning show host.
Yeah,
in
morning show
Sacramento.
host. Actually, more TV evangelist is more Jonathan Cain, who
or
now,
his wife.
Yeah,
Well, we'll get to that. But let's
yeah.
stick with John because very good-looking man, obviously.
Yeah.
Super good-looking. I mean, supermodel man. You
Yeah.
know, and he's still got those good looks, but he definitely. If he's dyeing his hair, he's doing a blue rinse. He needs to figure it out. Now, he needs to go completely white.
I mean, see, because kind of given his heritage, again, going back to sort of Fat Vince and Tony Maroney, John could have ended up like one of those small town Sopranos type. You know, Johnny 2 times. There's Johnny 2 times in the bar, and he'd have been
Johnny one hit.
Yeah. You know, he'd have been like in a leather jacket, and he'd have sort of been.
He'd been hanging out with Steve Van Zandt.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, he could have ended up like Johnny 2 Hits. They called him Johnny 2 Hits because he had 2 hit records and then he faded away. You know? Hey, here come Johnny 2 Hits. Sing us your 2 hits, Johnny.
Johnny, come back.
Yeah. There was massive piss taking of him, and he has to laugh along with it because they're all tougher than him.
Yeah.
But
hey, Johnny, how's the comeback? How's the comeback coming on, Johnny 2 Hits?
Yeah, he got a gig down at the Italian restaurant next week. I come down, you do your 2 hits.
I want to hear you sing.
Can't you sing the old ones, Johnny? Sing the old ones like Dean Martin and Frankie. We don't want the new ones.
That's
Amore. That's the one we want. I bring my wife down. We have a nice time.
You bring her to pasta, Johnny. Come back.
Yeah, Johnny, come back. That's a great name. Someone should be called that.
So his hair looks immaculate, but it does look like it belongs on Dot Cotton's head.
Yeah.
You know,
it's great hair. It's just someone else's.
Great hair. Just. All right, got another one for you now. Robert Plant.
Robert Plant. I haven't seen him for years. No idea what he looks like.
Oh, come on.
I don't know what he looks like.
He looks like one of the gargoyles on top of the Notre Dame.
Does he?
Well, one eye's this big and one eye's this big. And it's all in this kind of Mount Rushmore face.
Yeah.
He's still got amazing hair, and he's a big fella. He's tall. He's a big fella.
Yeah.
But they say you can keep the body, but not the face, or you can keep the face, but not the body.
And what one's he chosen?
Neither. He hasn't got the face.
Yeah.
No, he's got the body, but he hasn't got the face. Jagger's the same. Jagger, amazing body.
Yeah.
But face of a 2,000-year-old man.
Yeah, but he is 2,000. I mean, he is pretty old, you know.
So you're pretending you don't know what Robert Plant looks like?
I don't know what he looks like.
Do you not have a television in your house?
I do, but he's never on it, is he?
Well, sometimes.
He wasn't on Sky Sports Golf last night.
He wasn't playing cricket in the IPL.
Yeah, that's what I was watching, yeah.
Do you actually ever watch anything other than cricket?
The IPL's been called off, mate. You wouldn't have... You know that's... It's been COVID in India. They've cancelled the IPL. It's the one big cricket story that made all the papers last week.
I noticed. Yeah. I noticed. Then turned the page quick because boring. But now they can't get out, can they? They all tried to get on the last plane.
They did. The England players made it out. The Australians don't know what they're going to do because Australians are. If you've been in India and you're trying to get to Australia, you are literally banned from entering the country.
Yeah.
So they don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, I've got to admire
what
the
they've done. They've all gone to somewhere like Mauritius, and they're hoping, they're passing the days in Mauritius.
A month from now, third wave surges in Mauritius.
Yeah.
No, so I don't know how we got onto
that.
I
don't know what Robert Plant looks like. So there's no point asking me.
Well, Robert Plant was the incredibly sort of beautiful.
No, I know what he looked like. I don't.
And now
I'm not saying I don't know what he once looked like.
Have you ever heard of him? All right, you pick one now. An old rock star.
Okay, I'm going to pick someone good. Bret Michaels.
See, Bret, to me, when I think of Bret, it's still the same Bret from the 80s with the headband.
Yeah, he has still got the headband.
You bet he has. Yeah. He just hasn't got the
hair underneath it. Yeah.
Does he look old now then?
Doesn't look that old. Well, he's only in his 50s, I think. So he doesn't look super old. And he's still tan, but he's I think he's a...
I tell you who does look old is CC DeVille.
I was going to say CC. What about CC?
Poor old CC looks like he's just come out of a meeting, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh, God, I'll tell you who I was...
He's forgot his meds, but he made the meeting.
Well, he's all
fucking shaky.
His eyes are always going off in...
I'm okay. No, I haven't had a drink for years now. I'm all right though.
Yeah, it is a bit, yeah. And then I tell you, I saw it's on, to say I never watch anything, I was on Amazon Prime, they make these suggestions, because I once made the bloody mistake of watching that Journey.
We're not going to go into that again.
We're not, but I keep getting these suggestions of other things. One of the suggestions was this Chris Holmes documentary. So I watched the start of it. Jesus Christ. Talk about looking terrible. Chris Holmes now lives in France.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, with a French lady.
Yeah, I know that too. She's kind of his manager.
Yeah, he looks like an old biker. He's got a big gun.
He kind of is, isn't
yeah,
he?
exactly. Yeah,
he's your mate. You used to go shooting guns with him, didn't you?
He's got a huge beard. He's got straggly hair. He looks like crap. And he just walks
Proper
around.
man.
He walks around playing gigs, and he goes. He's the singer now in the band. So you get a little clip where he slags off Blackie Lawless, and then you cut to Chris Holmes singing, and you think, on the whole, I'd rather be listening to Blackie Lawless, and that's saying something, you know. Yeah.
They should get back together.
And he's one of those guys who does gigs in front of 40 people, but they all stop for an autograph after. So it's just about maintaining the very smallest semblance that there might still be something there.
But we're talking about looks now, so he doesn't look good.
I don't know. Well, I mean, he looks like someone who has lived a hard life, boozing, which he has.
But would you dare say that to him?
No,
to his face?
No, it's like that other guy.
That
other guy. Who's the other guy? Zach. What's his name? Zach Wilde. Yeah, he's another one who looks like that. Big fat tattoos, but you can tell you wouldn't want to have a fight. He's always got like a big. He's got like a 300-weight chain around his neck.
He looks like a WWE guy.
But one who retired 15 years ago. Yeah,
but doesn't know it yet.
Yeah,
he looks like Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler.
Yeah, he does a bit. Yeah, but terrifying. And you just think, I wouldn't want to be within 3 miles of this guy.
Now, Zach, interestingly, I mean, he was a pretty boy when he was young. I met him when he was like 19.
Yeah, I bet he did.
And he was a health freak. I remember the first time I met him, he held out a brown bag. He went, "Do you want one of these?" I said, "What is it?" He goes, "Yogurt-coated raisins." I'm like, "Get it away from me. Yeah. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm on the jack by now." Yeah. I was like, "Oh, okay, cheers, lovely." Yeah. We went to the same gym. He did not drink. And about a year after that, I bumped into him, and he'd just met Slash.
Right.
He goes, "It was amazing." He goes, "He had this Jack Daniels, and I was drinking from the bottle." I was like, "I bet you were."
Yeah.
And that was the end of that, really. And I think the beard,
I hate that.
Black Label Society, all that, I think that was a pretty boy desperately trying to shed that image to become this rough, tough, kind of Leonard Skinner type guy.
It's like that's all the kind of horrible aspects of masculinity. Why would you want to embrace those? You know, like Leonard Skinner. There's a nice bunch. Leonard Skinner. That's what you think, isn't it? Oh, there's a nice bunch of people. I'd love to spend some time with them. You know, waving their Confederate flags. Yeah.
You know, one of the reasons I wanted to become a music writer was because of Leonard Skinner. Not their music, but my friend Peter Makowski was writing for Sounds. And I thought that must be a terrible job, because you go to the show and then you've got to write about it. It just sounded appalling to me. Yeah. And then he went away for about 2 weeks and he came back, and he'd been away with Leonard Skinner in America. And the stories he told me would make your hair curl.
But this is the original...
Oh, yeah.
Skinners you're talking about now.
The real Skinner.
Yeah.
Ronnie Van Zant.
Yeah, whereas now it's a sort of collection of other Van Zant people.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they go around doing gigs at sort of, you know, Ku Klux Klan revival.
They look like they've got... What was that guy, the bounty hunter? What was he called?
Oh, Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, they look like...
Yeah, it's all those sort of people. You know, they're just appalling
Dog
people.
the Bounty Hunter is in Leonard Skinner.
Yeah, probably, yeah. And you just go... It just reminds me of you know, I've done a few trips and stuff driving through those southern states, and you just go... It's good for a while, then you start thinking, for fuck's sake, get me out of here. This is just an insane place. Everyone's got a gun. Everyone's drunk. You know, it's just a nightmare.
Like a Kid Rock concert.
Everyone looks like Leonard Skinner.
Or Kid Rock.
Including the women, you know. It's...
Someone told me, I was on the Kiss cruise about 18 months ago, and it was really nice.
Yeah.
And I think it was Doc or someone said to me, he goes, you should go on the Kid Rock cruise if you want to see people vomiting all over every deck and violence going on.
Because that's a weird one. There's that kind of guy. He was
I don't
just
know about violence,
Kid Rock
but,
was just sort of normal, wasn't he? Then all of a sudden, you read about him in the Daily Mail or something, and he's like this horrible kind of right wing.
Well, he was one of the guys that went to visit Trump in the
Yeah,
Oval.
yeah. It's like I tell you, here's another one. Ted Nugent. You know, what a deeply unpleasant person. Who denied that COVID existed, and then with crashing inevitability 2 weeks later is writing a tweet going, "Oh, unfortunately, guys, I've got COVID." Yeah, of course you have, because you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
It,
Okay, so we're gonna come to the end on this now. We've agreed that David Coverdale looks a bit like Ken Dodd, an old Ken Dodd.
You've agreed that. I've agreed that there should be somewhere an Italian restaurant in which the entertainment is Johnny Two Hits and
Johnny Come Back,
and Fat Vince and Tony Maroney are there with their women to watch.
Who's Tony Maroney?
Fat Vince's mate.
Tony Maroney.
You know what I've got on the brain is American Tabloid, the James Ellroy thing. And there's that guy Tony Iannone who gets bumped off, but it kind of haunts the guy that killed him. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
So who's the best looking of the old rock stars?
That's a good question. Who's really carried it off well? That's a good question, actually. I'm trying.
I'd say probably Ozzy.
Ozzy does look good. Yeah, Ozzy does look, especially if it's just a photo.
Yeah. James Hetfield, does he count?
He's sort of slightly younger, isn't he? And he's going down the Leonard Skinner route.
He was born looking old, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's going to end up looking like Ted Nugent or someone like that, and probably sounding like Ted Nugent, given his past of bear hunting or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Who looks good? I don't know. I can't think of anyone.
Another
who looks
rock star that I think has kind of gone a little bit to seed. I'm being a bit unfair on him here, but Anthony Kiedis.
I haven't seen him again. I don't know what he looks like. Is he? Yeah, but he's probably gone Mike Patton thing of going deliberately, porno ugly looking guy.
Yeah, I'm so attractive that it's actually cooler for me to make myself look far less attractive, even ridiculous, by growing a Burt Reynolds.
Yeah. He's sort of a bit like a sort of Thomas Pynchon character or something. Just one of those people you see around LA who was once beautiful but now is eccentric. But Perry Farrell, one of those type guys.
So Perry Farrell, say, could go to New York. Perry could be the eccentric old lady from Hollywood.
Perry's looking a bit old
with
lady.
Steven Tyler.
Yeah. And they'd be your nan and your Auntie Dot. You'll get a meme of them together.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And we do love old rock stars, don't we?
No.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave us a review, share it with a friend, or plain old subscribe wherever you listen to it. To get you some conversation online, follow us on Twitter at GetchaPod. Until next time.
This has been a No Filter Media production.
Say what you want.